Hey, this is John Spiker. I use SIT strings because they're the best strings in the world. Okay? They're from Ohio. How can you go wrong with strings made in Ohio? Come on. I come from a family that wishes they were musical more than they are actually musical. My mom is a pianist by night. My dad is a drummer by night. So I think that was definitely a huge influence growing up, even though technically neither of my parents are musicians by trade.
And I make it sound as good as can be.
Bass was not the instrument that I imagined I would end up taking gigs doing. I was in music school, this weird kind of fame-esque high school, and I was a guitarist and had a teacher that said, "Listen man, we got a lot of guitarists in the program, pick up the bass, and I promise you, you'll have a gig for the rest of your life." And I switched over to bass, and I've been gigging ever since.
And when the crowd roars,
you know, I kind of went through all of the schools of studying that you have to. You gotta check out Jocko, and I was definitely like a huge Jocko freak, and got way into him, and you know, the guys like Victor Wooten, and you know, studying the guys who were really playing fast and a lot of stuff. And then more recently, I've really gotten into players like Pino Palladino, and more like kind of groove soul players. That's kind of more where I'm at right now. So yeah, guys like Pino, I just can't get enough of.
I am in love.
It's impossible. I mean, this is probably the answer a lot of people give, but it's like they're so different. I love the studio because I really love picking apart, you know, a song and finding the right bass line for it and stuff. So it's really fun, like the craft of being in the studio. And I'm a big fan of production and stuff. But then there's the magic of being on the road, and you just kind of go out and, you know, stick your tongue out, and rock and roll. That's not really how I rock and roll. That would be, I probably wouldn't work too much if that was my rock and roll. The road's all about getting up on people's shoulders. The balance between making music and the business is a difficult and frustrating thing, because it would be unbelievable if all we had to do was just like go and make music, and that was all there was to it. But unfortunately, there is the business side of it, which is a lot of smiles and handshakes and stuff that sometimes you don't want to be giving. But you know, it's all about just kind of always being somebody who's having a good time, and people want to be around because then you're having fun too, and so are the people around you. So I think it's just about trying not to overwork yourself on either side. If you try to be too much of the business guy, it's gonna start affecting your music side of things. So I think it's finding a balance between the two is important. For young bassists, probably my #1 piece of advice on the playing end would be to go to your local music store and buy a metronome immediately, and never practice without it. That was a huge turning point for me, was when I started practicing with a metronome. And then you're going to hear this a lot down the road, but networking. It's sadly important, and the more you do it, the more friends you're going to have, and the more likely you are to get called up for a gig. So I can't believe I'm the guy saying that now. It's been said to me so many times. Anyways, networking. SIT strings, I had a guitar tech who I was using some other company, and honestly I never really thought about my strings. It was just kind of like what I put on my bass so I could play. And I never really gave it much thought. I didn't like try out a bunch of different strings before I started playing. It was just like, what's cheap? Okay, I'll buy those, put them on. And I had a guitar tech, or a bass tech, who suggested that I try try SIT and put them on my bass, and actually I don't even think he told me about it when he put them on, but I played a show and it was like the first time I ever noticed a difference in what I was playing, and it was just kind of like, it was a no-brainer. It was like, well, these are way better than anything else I've played. So it was kind of one of those things where it was like, I didn't have a shootout with a ton of different strings. It was just, I've been playing whatever for years, and then once I actually paid attention to it, I tried going back to an old company that I used after I tried SIT, and it was like, forget about it. So anyways, it was just kind of like, it was just trying them was all it took to yeah, sell me on it. I use the nickel power wounds, and I'm always changing the gauge that I use. Sometimes I'm up to a 105, sometimes it's 100, but definitely always the nickel, and the power wounds seem to be just kind of the best all around for, like, because I play a lot of different styles, so it really seems to suit a little bit everything.
4, 3,
I really just want to have a statue made of bronze of myself, put in a town square somewhere across the continental U.S. I'd also like to have a paint color named after me, would be great, and maybe a scale. Maybe I could figure out a new scale that they could name after me. No. Ultimate goal is just to, you know, just to have fun and never play on a gig that I'm not enjoying the music. Is I guess the ultimate goal is to just always play music that I love.
hop on you, girl, I wanna hop on you. Wanna get with you, girl, I wanna get with you. Come here, girl, let me freaking get with you. I wanna touch on your world, I wanna touch on you. Big girl's gonna do the doo-doo.